got to understand, we were doing a job. I got rid of Comey. I got rid of the FBI top guys. I got rid of them all. Boy, oh boy. If I didn't, I probably wouldn't be standing here talking to you, because that was a bad thing they were planning. It was good instinct. A friend of mine said, very strong political person that everybody knows, he said, that's going to be the biggest mistake. Firing this guy, when I fired him, will be a big mistake. Look at what's happening. And last week he said it was one of the greatest political instinct moves that he's ever seen, firing Comey, because there were bad things planned. And we learned all about them, because that was like throwing a rock into a hornet's nest when I fired that guy.
Yeah, that's called obstruction of justice. And I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Donald Trump gave a speech with other Republican presidential candidates at the Freedom Summit in Florida. Donald Trump spent a lot of his speech bragging about committing obstruction of justice. One notable thing, the crowd was relatively empty for Donald Trump, about a half-filled crowd when he was speaking. Many people at the event actually were saying that more people were there for DeSantis, which was interesting. And here, Donald Trump, in addition to just admitting that he engaged in obstruction of justice by firing people at the FBI that he didn't like and firing James Comey, here he just says, every single thing's a lie. It's all a lie. Don't believe anything. Play this clip.
I have friends, they're very good golfers. They're 6 handicaps. I say, Joe Biden says he's the equivalent of you. No, it's just a lie. Everything's a lie. The whole thing is a lie. The whole election was a lie. As president, I will be creating a truth and reconciliation commission to shed sunlight on every dark and rotten corner of Washington, D.C., starting with Biden.
I mean, and when you hear him say things like that, it's like, how is that the leading candidate for the Republican Party today? How is that the leader of the Republican Party? Here, Donald Trump, as part of his stump speech, he praises the leader of Hungary, Viktor Orbán, and once again, Donald Trump falsely states that Hungary borders Russia. Play the clip.
Good feeling. You know, one of the strongest of all is Viktor Orbán, and Viktor Orbán of, you know that, of Hungary. And he has the privilege of fronting on Ukraine and Russia. He's the only one. He fronts on both and knows them very well.
You know, and as Donald Trump praises Viktor Orbán, the leader of Hungary, can we just take a look at Viktor Orbán from Hungary? In addition to being a vicious authoritarian who absolutely tramples on people's rights, you know what the inflation is in Hungary right now? If you guessed 20%, you would be right. You know what the GDP of Hungary is right now? About $180 billion. $180 billion. So the United States corporation Apple has more revenue in a year than the annual GDP of Hungary. Let's just put that in perspective right there. Here, Donald Trump calls Chris Christie, his rival, and the former governor of New Jersey, the Republican presidential candidate, a fat pig. Here, play this clip.
No, I heard they virtually booed him off the stage. Because you know what? What's it all about? He's just doing it because I didn't give him a job in the administration. What's he doing? And why would I do a debate when Christie, sir, I'm sorry, he is not a fat pig, okay? This man, you said, he is not a fat pig. No, it's true. And you can't use the term fat. You're allowed to use the word pig, but not fat. No, the man just said, he's a fat pig. And I said, no, he's not a fat pig. So now the press can't kill me because all I'm doing is responding. I'm responding. He is not a fat pig.
Is the part of Donald Trump's speech where he just talks about windmills over and over again. Play the clip.
If they didn't subsidize it, then because they lose a fortune every time they make a car, just like on the windmills. They subsidize every windmill. They subsidize it. And the windmills now are all breaking down. Do you see what's going on? First time I've seen it. I've been preaching against these things. They're horrible for the environment. They kill all our birds. They're destroying our seas. The whales are, you know, we had one whale in 10 years get washed up ashore in New Jersey. Now they're coming up every week. They're being destroyed because of the sound and the vibration. It's so bad.
And this is where it's like the audience for Donald Trump must just love being lied to over and over again. So now Donald Trump saying that he got what he promised with the wall. He says that he never said that Mexico was going to pay for all of the wall, but he said that a portion of the wall, there was military that was paid for by Mexico. I don't even know what he's talking about. I mean, everything he says is a lie. Play this clip.
And for those people that talk about Mexico, you know, I said Mexico's going to pay for a piece of the wall. They paid for much more than that. They gave us 28,000 soldiers because there was no way legally they could pay for our wall. You know, they tried to work that, but they paid much more. They paid for our soldiers, and that wasn't easy to do. They also did many other things for us.
Here, Donald Trump says that when he was in office, there was no incidents that ever took place that were like no wars and no terrorist attacks. And he said everything was perfect for 4 years, right? Like, as though we didn't live through those 4 years where you couldn't even get toilet paper. It was apocalyptic during those 4 years. Play the clip.
They all listened and they stopped, and we had something that was incredible. We had the great terror organization stopped, totally stopped. They stopped, and we had no problem. You know, for 4 years, we didn't have an incident. Think of it. And I didn't want to talk. I wanted to say it so badly, even during the campaign, where we did much better than we did the first time, by the way. We got millions and millions of more votes. But I wanted to say it so badly. There's been no terror. We put the terror ban. We put everything. We did things that nobody's ever done before. We had no terror for 4 years. We had no problems for 4 years.
And by the way, Donald Trump negotiated with the Taliban without the Afghan government and released 5,000 Taliban prisoners. I mean, it's just horrific stuff. Invited them to Camp David. I mean, Helsinki. The way Donald Trump bragged about love letters to Kim Jong-un. I mean, folks, this behavior is absolutely not normal. Here, Donald Trump states that if he were to go back in office, he's not going to let people in who don't meet his test for if they believe in the success of America. So if he believes that you don't believe in the success of America as he defines it, which must mean whatever Vladimir Putin says, he says he won't let you into the country. Play this clip.
And we had no problem during that 4-year period because they knew they cannot mess around. We had it tight. If you hate America, if you want to abolish Israel, if you sympathize with jihadists, and then you don't want your country to do well, you don't want your country to be successful, you're just not going to get in. You're not getting in. You're not coming into our country.
I mean, do we realize just how dangerous and insane the things are that he's saying? Here is Donald Trump praising Matt Gaetz. I'll just do whatever Matt Gaetz says. Here, play this clip.
I did exactly what Matt Gaetz would have done, okay?
Here, Donald Trump says that he will prosecute leftist charities that he doesn't like. Play this clip.
And for any radical left charity, nonprofit, or so-called aid organization supporting these caravans and illegal aliens, we will prosecute them for their participation in human trafficking, child smuggling, and every other crime we can find.
And again, it is worth reiterating that the room he was speaking into was relatively empty. I mean, it was only about half full. More people showed up for the DeSantis speech. Just a very deranged and dangerous speech. And, you know, for this to be the leader of the Republican Party saying these things, just outright talking about, bragging about obstruction of justice, calling one of the other candidates a fat pig, praising Viktor Orbán with 20% inflation and saying that Hungary borders Russia, which it absolutely doesn't. I mean, it's just bizarre stuff. I don't. This shouldn't be a political thing, folks. It shouldn't be like, oh, I'm a Democrat. Oh, Now, we should all look at this and go, what in the world is this behavior? This is not something that should be representing the United States in any capacity. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 2 million subscribers. Thanks to your support. Check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch and have a great day.
At MeidasTouch, we are unapologetically pro-democracy, and we demand justice and accountability. That's why we're spreading our message to Convict 45. That's right, gear up right now with your Convict 45 tees and pins at store.MeidasTouch.com. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.